Hello again, Anna Carolina. Nice to see you again.
Ah, now I can hear you. I couldn't before.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I had muted, so not a problem. Hello, Eduardo. Are you able to speak? Now it's getting kind of late in Brazil, isn't it, Anna Carolina?
It's 11 p.m.
Yeah. Do you usually study till about midnight and then
And
go to
no,
bed?
but uh, on Sunday I can because on Monday I usually take a day off. I,
Ah,
I
okay.
just have to work 40 hours a
Mhm.
week.
Mhm.
And tomorrow I'm going to Rio to
Going to
go
where?
to Rio de Janeiro
Oh, okay. To Rio?
to have a lunch with my friends
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
and
About the
to
lawsuit?
go at the audience. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Eduardo, can you speak? Eduardo? Hello, Heidi.
Hello, nice to see you again.
Nice to see you too. So, so what time is it right now in Japan?
11,
11. Okay.
11 a.m. now.
Okay. 11 a.m. So, have you been to your coffee shop?
Not yet, maybe afternoon.
Not yet. Okay. Uh,
Because
For
they
some
are
reason,
start of lesson in the afternoon, so.
uh-huh. Okay, so you do that in the afternoon. So for some reason, whenever I see you, I always think Heidi is going to be going to a coffee shop today because she loves coffee. So
So
were you
sorry.
in that coffee? Were you in the class I had about coffee, the
Mhm.
coffee personality?
Yeah,
Okay.
coffee is a kind of mood to enjoy the mood. So I drink coffee in a coffee
Uh-huh.
shop,
Yeah.
not in
Uh-huh.
my house.
Not at home. Yeah, because I think I remember that. So, hello again, Jinyu. Jinyu, what time is it in China?
It's 10 a.m.
10 a.m. Okay. And Eduardo, are you able to speak now?
I wonder if you can hear me now.
Yes, we can hear you now. Yay! So, so Eduardo, where are you from?
I'm from Mexico City.
Mexico. Awesome. So, what time is it in Mexico right now? Is it
It's
8 p.m. or 9 p.m.?
8 p.m.
8 p.m. Okay. Have you guys changed your time for summer yet, or will you do that when the Europeans do it?
Well, in
We are
Mexico,
already.
okay, sorry.
Eduardo?
Well, in Mexico, we do when Americans do it.
Okay, so we already did last weekend.
Oh, well, so we are late. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, I was very surprised because a lot of the Europeans aren't doing it until the end of March, and so I guess that's when you guys will do it as well. So, how about in Brazil? Will you guys change times, Ana
Yes.
Carolina?
Yes, we changed. We already changed.
Oh, you already changed your time. Okay,
Yes.
okay. And then Abdullah, welcome. I haven't seen you in a while. How are you?
I'm fine, I'm good. Thank you for asking me.
Excellent. So, remind me where you are from.
Actually, I'm from Saudi Arabia, but I live in the United
You
States.
live in the U.S. and you are living in Pennsylvania, right?
No,
No.
no,
Okay.
yes, your guess is
I
wrong
have you.
here.
I have you confused with somebody else. Okay. There's people in Texas, but I don't think you're the ones in Texas.
No, actually, I live in,
You're
no, no, I live,
California.
yes, California.
California, and were you the Abdullah that was you were studying in the East Coast, and then you moved over to California because it was nicer there. I mean, as far as the weather.
No,
No, that's somebody else. Okay. Okay, so you're in California. But there is somebody else just recently who was studying in Boston, and during the harsh winter that Boston had, he moved over to San Diego because San Diego is warm. So
Yeah.
so
Well,
awesome. Well, today we're going to work on a vocabulary, and we're going to work specifically on money. So we all like money, right? And so we're going to talk a little bit about these words. So let's, in pairs or as a group, as a class, what we're going to do is put the adjectives below into the correct categories. And then there are some words that are disapproving. So let's get my ability to write. I always forget that part. So we have the words affluent, broke, cheap, generous, giving, hard up, mean, penniless, tight-fisted, wasteful, wealthy, and well off. Okay, so let's look at these words. So let's start with Abdullah. And can you choose one of these words and put it in the correct category of either having a lot of money, having very little money, willing to spend money, or unwilling to spend money? Can you choose one of these words?
yeah, actually, the first one having a lot of money, I think I'm gonna match it with wealthy.
Wealthy, yes. Somebody who is wealthy has a lot of money. Very good. Anna Carolina, can you choose one of the words?
Yes. Well off.
Mm-hmm. And well off is
Having a lot of money.
having a lot of money.
Affluent.
Okay, just one word, please. Well off. Okay, perfect. Okay, and Kako, can you choose one of the words? Kako. Okay, he's unable to speak. Eduardo, can you choose one of the words?
Yeah, I think it's affluent.
Affluent. Yeah, affluent is well having a lot of money. Can you choose another one and put it in the correct category?
Okay, another one plus the one all we have there.
Oh, just
Okay,
in any of these categories.
Oh,
Yeah, it doesn't have to be this one.
Okay, having very little money could be penniless.
Penniless, yes. Somebody who is penniless has very little money. Perfect. Okay. And Heidi, can you choose one of these words?
Mean, unwilling to spend money.
Yes, if you are mean, you are unwilling to spend money. Now, I want to just make sure that people know that this is British English only. In American English, mean mean the definition of mean is unkind. Unkind. So yeah, and the word we use for that in American English is stingy. Yes, exactly. So, Heidi, something in one of my sentences. So excellent. And Jinyu, can you choose a word?
Broken.
Broke.
Willing to spend. Broke have very little money.
Okay, broke is where you have very little money. If you're penniless or you're broke, yes. Perfect. Okay, and Abdullah, can you choose another one?
I think willing to spend money with generous.
Generous, yes. If somebody is generous, usually we say in English, we will say a person who is generous will give you the money, give you the shirt off their back if that is all they had to give. So, Anna Carolina, can you choose a word?
Giving. Willing to spend money.
Yes, if somebody is willing to spend money, they are also very giving. Perfect. Okay, Eduardo, can you choose one? It's getting a little bit more difficult. So we have hard up, cheap, tight-fisted, or wasteful. Any idea, Eduardo? Hello? Okay, I can be heard, correct?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, I've been having problems and people have been dropping off, so. Okay.
Well, I'm here now. I said tight-fisted is having unwilling to spend money.
Yeah, tight-fisted is unwilling to spend money. Perfect. If you're tight-fisted, you are unwilling. You are not generous. It's definitely opposite of generous. Heidi, can you choose one?
Hard up, having very little money.
Yes. If you're hard up, you're having very little money. Perfect. And then Shinyu, can you choose one? We've got cheap and we've got wasteful.
Wasteful. Willing to spend the money.
Yes. Okay, and then we've got the last one. Does anybody have any idea where cheap would go to? Any volunteers here?
Unwilling to spend money.
Yeah, if you're cheap, you are unwilling to spend money. So now, which of these words here are disapproving? Basically, are words that are kind of more negative adjectives.
Are you asking who?
Anybody?
Okay,
Cheap.
wasteful is negative.
Wasteful is negative.
Yes.
Okay.
Stingy is negative.
So, and which one is?
I said wasteful and stingy.
Stingy.
Stingy. Sorry.
Stingy. Yeah, no worries.
Sorry.
Not a problem. Mistakes are right. Perfect in class. Okay, anybody else have it?
Well, a negative one could be hard up.
No.
Not really?
Mm-mm.
Mm.
There's two more that are negative.
Tight-fisted. Tight-fisted?
Yes.
I've been hearing an echo.
Another win.
Yeah, tight-fisted is negative. Abdullah, can you mute?
The news echo.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. And then the other two that are negative is mean, which also stingy and mean means the same thing. And then we also have cheap. If you're cheap and you're unwilling to spend money, then that is negative. So those are the negative words. So what does wasteful mean? Anna Carolina, can you explain wasteful?
Yes.
Okay.
My gosh. If you break down the words, everyone can figure out, because I bet everyone here knows what waste means and what full means. Full of waste, someone who splash out money, who spends in a irresponsible way.
Yeah, exactly. Someone who spends it in an irresponsible way. Heidi, can you explain what tight-fisted means?
Tight-fisted. The fisted, like you grab your hand. So if you grab a hand, you don't want to open your hand.
So you don't. Yeah. So you basically you hold on to your money.
Yeah.
You don't want to let go of your money. Is what it is. Excellent. All right. And Eduardo, can you explain what does it mean if somebody is penniless?
Well, penniless is someone that has no money at all in his pocket.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it has nothing at all. Okay, perfect. Okay, and Xinyu, if you are well off, it means you have a lot of money. I guess that's not a good question. All the rest of them I think are very easy. Okay, so we're gonna go on. Okay, how would you? Yes. Yes.
Is there a word to describe someone who is unwilling to spend money in a positive way?
No. Well, okay. Let's think of this. The word frugal. Does everybody know what that means?
Kako used this word.
Yeah, Kako used this word in the last class or a couple classes ago.
Maybe
Frugal is using money wisely. So, like as so, if you're a global traveler, you can spend less money than most people do because you're really careful with your money. So, some people who are frugal, many times they are unwilling to spend money because they don't want to waste it. Does that make sense? Ana
yes.
Carolina? Perfect. Yeah, so I think that would probably be the only one that would be a positive way, but a lot of people don't consider, a lot of people are very wealthy and affluent who are frugal. So, all right.
Excuse
All
me, I
right.
have a question.
Yes.
When you say greed, that means, well, of course, greed is something negative, but it
Uh-huh.
could be taken as a stingy or a hard up.
Not hard up. If you're greedy, usually it's you're unwilling to spend money, and it would be mean or stingy, tight-fisted, or cheap. Usually tight-fisted. Somebody who is greedy is tight-fisted, but they normally are not hard up. A hard up is usually, it just means a penniless person who's gone through difficult problems, and that's why they're hard up. And they aren't normally penniless. They aren't normally broke, but they've just had some problems.
But can we say that greed is a vice, right? It's the opposite of that
Greed is
virtue.
a vice. Yes, greed is definitely a vice. Absolutely.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, let's look at these questions. How would you describe the following people using the above adjectives? Okay, so let's talk about a typical student. Abdullah, can you describe a typical student using the above adjectives?
He dropped.
Oh, he did. Okay, so let's start with Ana Carolina.
Okay. A typical student spend less.
Okay.
Just one.
No, you can choose as many adjectives in this one. Okay, so
Okay.
penniless.
Yes,
Okay.
most of the university students are penniless, but they are wasteful at the same time.
Yeah, not all, but some are wasteful. But then you have others that are frugal. You know,
Frugal,
it just,
yeah.
of course depends on the student.
Really.
Yeah, I was wasteful as a university student, but I have one of my best friends from Finland. She was a university student when I was living there, and she was one of the most frugal people I've ever met. And I was just like,
Well,
wow. So
there are some nerds, but most of the students, in my opinion,
are wasteful.
yes, they are longing for liberty, for enjoy things.
Okay. Yeah. All right. And Eduardo, how about you? Can you describe a tycoon? What would you what words would you use to describe a business tycoon?
Well, of course, they're wasteful. I mean, they waste a lot of money
Mm-hmm.
just to show off. They are wealthy. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
extremely wealthy. I don't think they use their money wisely. I mean, they're the opposite of frugal.
Mm-hmm.
What else? Of course, they're affluent.
Mm-hmm.
and I don't think they are generous. Probably with the tips, but not with in general terms.
Yeah. I mean, you have the occasional people who are maybe eventually they become generous, like Bill Gates is generous now, but I don't know if he was in the beginning of his career. So,
well, many people say that they become really wealthy because they used to be very stingy, and after they get wealthy, they start. I mean, they become generous. But that's the way it is, not the opposite.
Yeah, they start out being stingy, and then they move over to generous. Yeah, I would agree. I would agree. At least most people I know. Okay, so Heidi, what about a refugee? What would
Yeah,
you use?
maybe 2 years ago, Somalia had a long time and drought, so farmers couldn't get enough food, so they and even there a lot of wars. Um, so many refugees gathered in the border to Kenya. So from UN, some people went there to help them. They are penniless, broke, hard up. Several women had their babies. Babies are very thin, and they grab her mother's chest, but even they don't have any milk. The mothers couldn't produce any milk.
Wow, because they were that hard up.
Yeah.
And this is what country?
Maybe it's Sudan. It happened.
Sudan. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And yeah, because a penniless, broke, hard up, definitely good. Okay. Amin, can you describe an extravagant celebrity? So this would be an extravagant.
I think there is wasteful and they well off. Yeah.
Yes. And then I think also affluent as well, because if you're affluent, it means you are able to influence because of your money. Basically, you could make an influence. So, okay, and Jinyu, what about a philanthropist? What adjectives would you use to describe a philanthropist?
I don't know this word. Can you explain that?
A philanthropist is a person who is very well off, and usually they give away all their money. So basically here, I'm going to copy and paste the meaning of it.
I think he will be affluent, well off, and generous.
Affluent, well off, and generous. Yeah. Now, a modern day philanthropist is Bill Gates. So.
Yes, he has donated all his money to the organization.
Yeah. All right. And
Maybe
yes.
Maybe Bill Gates would donate some money to me.
Wouldn't that be nice? Maybe he'll do some type of bot and hear his name, and this class will be brought up, and he'll send us all money. Wouldn't that be nice? Okay, Bill Gates, contact verbally, and they know how to get a hold of us. So, all right, Kako, welcome back. So, as supermarket cashier, what words would you use to describe a supermarket cashier? A typical one.
Here in Brazil, do you want adjectives?
Yes.
Or nouns?
Adjectives.
Adjectives. Here in Brazil, they are generally, or most of them, are female.
Okay.
Female.
Okay. And how about these words that we're using, these money words up here? So most are female. Just continue, and we'll get to the right answer. Okay.
Hard worker, hardworking.
Uh-huh.
Hardworking.
Mm-hmm. So how about any of these words up here? Can you think of any that would describe them, or that's kind of hard?
Maybe tight. How can I say? Tight. When a person is working to make their living, but not with plenty of money.
Mm-hmm. They live on a tight budget. Is what you're getting at. They live on a tight budget. They may be hard up. It depends on them because they live on a tight budget. Or you can say, in that respect, Kako, you can say they live month paycheck to paycheck. Paycheck to paycheck. And if somebody lives paycheck to paycheck, it means they have no savings, and at the end of every month, they are waiting for their next check so that they can pay their bills and buy food and things like that. So is that what you're?
I suppose most of them cannot waste money.
Mm-hmm.
Cannot waste money.
Mm-hmm. So maybe they are frugal. Okay.
Because the salaries in Brazil are not high.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, teacher.
All right. Thank you very much. That was very good. All right. Let's go ahead and put these expressions.
I have a question.
Yes. Yes, Eduardo.
Sorry, I have a question.
Not a problem.
These people, I mean the cashier, they are very low paid. Can we say that they live day to day? Is that correct?
You can say that as well. Usually the people that live day to day are people that actually are the day workers, are the ones that every day they make enough money to pay for their food for that day. So where somebody with a job who's a supermarket cashier maybe gets paid twice a month or once a week, right? So they work paycheck to paycheck. But day to day usually would be a homeless person who lives on that one job that they are able to get. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you very much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, let's put these expressions in order from 1 very good value to 6 very bad value. So we have a bit pricey, a total ripoff, a good deal, a reasonable value for money, a real bargain, or way too expensive. So anybody can answer. What would be number 1?
Way too expensive.
So we're going from a very good value to very bad value. So way too expensive would not be, because the way too expensive would be more on this side, more closer to the very bad value. What would be the one that has the best value here? Any other ideas?
A total ripoff.
No, that would be actually on the other side as well.
Teacher, 100 for 10 minutes taxi ride is very expensive.
Excuse me?
Are you asking about the number 1?
No, we're not talking about here. We're not down here at all.
Oh, sorry.
So what we're doing is we're rating these from number 1 to 6. 1 being very good value, 6 being very bad value.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We haven't gone down here. I'm sorry. I was confused. I was like, Ana Carolina, usually you know exactly what I'm talking about. So.
Okay, probably I can answer a good deal and a real bargain.
Yes, a real bargain would be number 1, and a good deal is number 2. Okay, so what would the middle one be?
Reasonable value for money.
Yes, that would be number 3 actually. Perfect. Anybody know what number 4 would be? And somebody different.
A bit pricey.
A bit pricey? Yes. Okay, and Heidi, can you do number 5?
5, way too expensive.
Way too expensive, yes. And then of course a total ripoff is number 6. Total ripoff. So a real bargain is number 1. A total ripoff is number 2. So question for you, Eduardo, have you been totally ripped off before?
Yeah, who knows? Who didn't? I mean,
who hasn't been?
Yeah, I mean, we all have been ripped off many times, or I mean, at least as older you get, you try to not to fall again in the same thing.
But we all get ripped off at one time in our lives, or not another.
Sure.
Yeah. So, Mean, can you tell us something that you consider that is way too expensive that you have considered buying anyway?
Sorry, I don't know the meaning of way too expensive.
Okay, way too expensive is the price is too high.
Yes.
Okay, so that means it means basically the price is too high. So.
Then sometimes I buy something with a high price. Yeah.
Okay. So is there any specific thing like electronics or?
Because some seller in Vietnam.
Okay.
Often talk the price is high than the real values of the goods. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. All right. And Heidi, could you tell us about something that you have gone shopping for and you realized it was a bit pricey?
Pricey. Yeah, depends on the maker. It's different. For example, Hermes or Louis Vuitton, they are selling handbags. But actually, Louis Vuitton handbag is plastic, not real leather. So I always think it's a little pricey.
It's a bit because it's plastic. It's a bit pricey. Yeah, that's a very good example. Very good. All right, and Jinyu, what do you buy that you consider a real bargain?
Hmm. A $50 for a night in a five-star hotel. I think this is a real bargain.
I agree, especially if you have a lot more people than just you. Is it more than just you, or is it
And
just you?
uh, only only I and my wife.
Okay, and that could be a real bargain. Yeah. Okay,
Mm.
and Kako, can you tell us about the last time you felt like you got a good deal?
I had a good deal when I went out. I eat out in in a, in my favorite restaurant
Ah,
here.
okay. Uh-huh. And was it a barbecue?
Yes.
Uh-huh. Oh, I've heard so much about your guys' barbecues for years. I want to go. Uh,
They are very popular in Brazil.
yeah, I've heard. So, Anna Carolina, excuse me. Tell us, what is something that you have bought that you thought was reasonable value for money?
Okay. Um, a leather purse.
A leather purse.
A
Okay.
leather purse.
So do you
Sorry
agree?
about my pronunciation.
Not a problem. So do you agree with Heidi that a purse that's plastic is a bit too pricey usually?
Uh, uh,
A bit
a, pur-
pricey?
a
A
purse.
plastic purse?
It's tacky.
Yeah, okay. All right.
I wouldn't buy a plastic
Plastic purse. That's exactly what
purse.
Heidi would think.
No, no.
Yeah. All right. All right. Now let's describe the following deals using the expressions above. Okay. So number one, let's go to let's start with you, Anna Carolina. $100 for a 10-minute taxi ride. How would you describe that? And have you ever experienced this kind of thing?
It's a total ripoff.
Okay. A total
Um,
ripoff? Yep.
yes. Oh, it's absurd. Outrageous. I have never paid $100 for a 10 minute taxi ride, but a taxi ride here is very expensive, you know.
Mhm.
Uh, well, I complain a lot because I have to pay $15
Uh-huh.
for a 8 minute taxi ride, and in my eyes it's expensive. Imagine $100.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, rides. I think like in the States, so many parts of the U.S. we don't even have taxi cabs around because nobody takes them because they're so expensive. So, um, and Shinyu, number two, a meal in your favorite restaurant. How would you describe that?
A meal in my favorite restaurant is a good deal.
Is a good deal. Okay. And could you describe your favorite restaurant?
Uh, my favorite restaurant is a Chinese restaurant near my house.
Mm-hmm.
I often go to eat some specials in that restaurant.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. All right. Thank you. All right. In Akako, $50 for a night in a five-star hotel. What would you consider that?
I find it a reasonable value for money because it is not expensive.
Mhm.
Not
Yeah.
it's not cheapo. It's
Mhm.
reasonable.
Mhm. It actually for some in some markets it actually might be a real bargain as well. It depends on the country you go to. Some some countries that would be a reasonable value. Other countries it's a real bargain. So.
No, if you compare with the prices of hotels in Brazil,
Mhm.
it is very cheap. This price,
Mhm.
$50 for a night. It is
Mhm.
you cannot find this price here.
Yeah. Okay. That's why I would say it's more of a real bargain because it's hard to find a price that cheap. So. I was able to get one for $30 once, but of course it was 15 years ago. So, um,
No,
mean,
here you find only 3-star hotels for $50 a year, a day,
yeah,
a
that's the
night.
same in the
Yeah.
States as well. Yeah, definitely. Mean, oh, in your opinion, what would you, what expression would you use for a flight ticket with a budget airline?
Yes, I think it's a real bargain.
A real bargain.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you been able to take one somewhere? Where do they fly from Vietnam?
Yes, last years I booked the ticket before a month and I get a ticket. Yeah.
And where did you go?
Singapore. I went to Singapore.
Singapore. Awesome. Awesome. All right. Yeah, because I know in every region of the world we have these budget airlines that fly really cheap in that region. So, all right. Train fares in your country. So Heidi, talk to us. What are the train fares like in Japan?
Yeah, I think so. It's a little pricey, a
A
bit
bit
pricey.
pricey.
Everything's pricey in Japan.
Uh, yeah, I've heard, especially, I'm going to say that a bit pricey in Japan, and in the States as well. We would say that it's a um, way too expensive.
Yeah,
But
for example, I went to Italy or some European countries. I took a lot of times to
uh-huh.
train. It's kind of pocket money, I thought.
Yeah,
Was very cheap.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, Eduardo, how about beer or coffee in your hometown?
Well, I think they're very convenient. I mean, if you don't go to a luxury place or a very fancy place,
Uh-huh.
so I think they are very convenient, or I think it's I don't know, reasonable value for money. That's what I'd
Reasonable.
say.
Okay.
Yeah, but all depends. If you go to a very, very fancy place, so probably it is not so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And one thing that I've noticed is to really be able to spend your money wisely in a country, you have to know the locals because they know where all the good places are. So,
Yeah, sure.
yeah. And how about I'm kind of interested in train fares in all the different countries. So, how about in Brazil, Caco and Ana Carolina? What are the train fares in Brazil like?
They are bad, that of bad quality, low availability, and high cost, and not to
Really?
work, not to work in they are not punctual.
Uh-huh. Okay. So they're just not a good value at all for your money.
Um, they, they are very
Uh-huh.
full.
Okay, they're full, but they're this not a good value. So, Eduardo, how about in Mexico? What are the trains like in Mexico?
Well, actually, we don't have uh, trains for the last 20 years. I mean,
Oh,
yeah,
no
it's something.
passenger.
It's only for business. I mean, just to carry merchandises
Uh-huh.
or
Uh-huh.
oil or gasoline, but not
Uh-huh.
for passengers. I mean, they were very popular 30 or 40 years ago.
Uh-huh.
The government sold them out,
Mm-hmm.
and they practically disappeared. I mean, it's really a tragedy, but that's the way it
Mm-hmm.
is.
That's exactly how it is up in the area of the U.S. that I live in. Um, we do not have any passenger trains that come through the state of Idaho at all. We do have a lot of freight trains, which is what you've described as well. And my mom wanted to take a train trip across the U.S. or down to the Midwest, and it took for a drive. It would have taken her probably about 48 hours to drive there. It took her about 4 days on the train. We had to drive her down to Nevada, which was about an 8-hour drive down to even catch the train. So um, that's how it is in my area of the U.S. So how about in Vietnam? Mean, what are the trains like in Vietnam?
Uh, we- Not convenient. It's
Uh huh.
the train is for the person to travel a long distance.
Okay. Really, for just for long distance travel. Okay. All right. And how about in China, Jinyu? What are the trains like in China?
The passenger trains are reasonable value for money.
Uh huh.
So some workers often take the passenger trains to travel.
So workers take the passenger trains to travel
Mm.
because it's good value for the money. So, okay.
Excuse me, can I say something?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that in the whole continent, in America, trains are not really good. But I mean, the exception is Europe, of course,
Mhm.
China, Japan, and
Mhm.
that's it. I mean, the rest of the world, trains are, I mean, are the states are the owners. They are not
Mhm.
good. They are unhealthy, and they
Mhm.
are not cheap. So
Mhm.
it's a bad service, really, and they should be better, uh,
Mhm.
considering the European, the Chinese, and the Japanese experience. But I don't know what happened in the whole continent.
Yeah, I agree with you. I totally agree with you. Having lived in Europe, I lived in Europe for 11 years, and I never needed a car over there. And I came back to the States after that amount of time, and I had to buy a car. I resented it. I didn't want to have to. Um, but to travel even anywhere, you have to even the in the states, not just the trains, but the public transportation is pretty bad. Now there are the big cities where we have very good train systems and subway systems and stuff like that. But to travel from one end of the U.S. to the other, or from north to south, or whatever, it's very problematic. But like the Chicago system, the Bay Area Rapid Transit, the San Francisco has a really good public transportation. New York City, of course, is really good. And Washington D.C., Boston, Philadelphia, all the big cities are very, very good. But you go to the rest of the U.S. or Los Angeles, Miami, that area, no, not at all. So I totally agree with you. All right, all right. let's continue on. Collocations with money. Let's go ahead and practice this. So we've got allocate, earn, launder, set aside, squander, and withdraw. So Anna Carolina, can you choose one of these words and match this to money, to save money for a special purpose? Which one would that be?
Set aside.
Set aside, okay. Excellent. And Kako, next one. To spend money in a wasteful way.
I suppose it is withdraw.
No, withdraw means to take money out of your account.
Okay. Squander.
Squander, yes. Squander. To squander money means basically if you squander money, you're being very wasteful. I'm guessing that's new for many of you. Eduardo, could you do the next one?
Yeah, well, launder money is to make illegal money seem legal.
Perfect. Perfect. And next one, Heidi.
To receive money as payment for work that you do as a earn.
Earn money. Perfect. And Mean, can you read the next one?
Yes, to take money out of your bank account, it means to withdraw money.
Withdraw, yes. And then the last one, Shen Yu.
The last one.
Remember, this is always the hardest one, right?
Last one. Allocate money. To give a share of available money to a person or organization.
Perfect. Okay, so are there any questions about any of these collocations?
No, but I'd like to read too. To save money for a special purpose.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. Any other questions? No questions about these words. Okay, let's go ahead and practice these. So number one, Anna Carolina, could you read that?
Okay. The government has decided to set aside $1 billion for improve the country's education system. No, gosh, I'm sorry. The government has decided to allocate money. No, to allocate $1 billion for improve the country's education system. Allocate, sorry.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, it is allocate. I started getting confused, so I was like, okay, let me check. So allocate $1 billion for improving the country's education system. Awesome. Kako, can you read the next one?
I'm going to set aside $200 from my weekly wages. After a year, I'll be able to pay a decent car.
Okay, I will be able to buy a decent car.
A decent car.
Perfect.
To buy a decent car.
Perfect. And Eduardo, can you read number 3?
Okay, probably because I am Mexican, I have to deal with this kind of crime things. Okay, Carlo used his restaurant to launder stolen money.
Actually, I didn't even think about that, so I apologize.
Yeah, but that's true, unfortunately. I mean.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that is a stereotype that is so totally wrong based on my experience. But yeah, and number 4, Mean.
Yes, he squander all his savings on parties and holidays.
Perfect. He squandered all his savings on parties and holidays. Okay, number 5, Jinyu.
I should earn much more money for all the hard work that I do.
And I think that a lot of people believe that, definitely. So, Anna Carolina, could you read number 6?
I need to find a cash machine to withdraw some money.
Perfect. So withdraw some money. Okay. And it's funny because usually I'll ask questions about these, but money is such a personal thing. I have a hard time asking people about money. So let's go on. So together, let's complete the sentences below with the following words. We have easy, made, mouth, rainy, trees, and water. And so these are some idioms with money. So number 1, let's start with Jinyu. Can you try that one? Paul must be, okay, go ahead, you read it.
Paul must be look at his brand new sports car. Car must be mouth of money.
No, not mouth of money. Any idea what this one would be?
Rainy.
No.
Trees.
Easy.
So if you're made of money, if you're made of money, that means you have all kinds of money. You're wealthy, you're well off, and so forth. Okay, let's try this one. Number 2, Mean, can you try that one?
You keep saying you can beat me. Why don't you put your money where your mouth is?
Yeah, why don't you put your money where your mouth is? So mouth. So remember that with the TH, the tongue comes out of your mouth quite slightly. Mouth. Mouth is. Yeah. Mouth. Okay, Eduardo, can you try number 3?
Okay, don't be so wasteful. Money doesn't grow on trees, you know?
Yeah, I know, but still, I like to spend money. So, number 4, Eduardo. Not you're Eduardo. Kako, number 4.
Save some money for rainy day. Don't spend it all at once.
Perfect. Right, number 5, Anna Carolina.
Some people think running a website is easy money.
Yeah, it's not. Takes a lot of time. So number 6, Anna Carolina, can you do that one as well?
Julie spends money like water. She goes shopping almost every day.
Okay, so are there any questions about these? We've got made of money, put your money where your mouth is, money doesn't grow on trees, save money for a rainy day, easy money, and spends money like water. So, Jinyu, ask
Teacher,
away.
Could you explain, put your money where your mouth is?
Yes, basically, when you say put your money where your mouth is, it means prove to me, basically, or show me what you are saying. So you think you are really good at playing basketball. Let's put your money where your mouth is, and let's go play some basketball. And many times they will say, put your money where your mouth is before you start betting or gambling. Oh, I spelled that wrong. Gambling. Does that make sense, Jinyu?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Class is over.
Yeah, I just noticed that. So I was like, do we have more room? There's a few more things. But I want to thank you all for your participation. I hope you learned some new words and phrases, and I hope to see you in another class sometime. Thank you all very much. Bye. And sleep
Okay.
well for those of you who are heading to bed.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you,
Thank you,
teacher.
Holly. Thank you,
Thank
class.
you. Bye.